Hello, my loves. Welcome to another video. Today's video, we are going to talk tarot. Why not do a tarot video? Let's discuss a couple decks that really wowed me this spooky season. And I'll just give my tarot subscribers a little bit of something to get excited for. So grab a snack, get cozy, get comfortable, get your drinks, and let's get into this video. Okay, you guys, so I have two decks I want to talk about today. They're both Oracle decks. They're not tarot decks, but actually, no, you know what? Let's talk about the other tarot deck too. I'm going to do a separate video on this tarot deck. I guess I'll just show it to you right now. I do plan on doing a separate video on this one because I do want to showcase it. But I got a new Halloween deck later in October. So I've only been able to work with it for a little bit. And that is the RWS Halloween Tarot. It was a Kickstarter deck that I backed, and it is created by Matt Green. I'm really excited to show you guys this one, but I've only been working with it probably about a week. I haven't had it that long. Another video will be coming where I show you guys this deck, but I guess let me just give you like a little sneak peek. Let's just take a little sneaky poo. These are the card backs. The edges are orange, very Halloween-y. And like I said, it's Rider Waite. The colors are like purples and yellows, oranges, greens, very Halloween-y colors with pops of Halloween. So I will definitely be doing a separate video for this deck, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys that because this was also one of the Halloween themed tarot decks that I really love to work with this season, but it needs its own video. So we will get back to that. Okay, so the Oracle deck. So I have two Oracle decks that I'm really, really excited to talk about today. I was very pleasantly surprised how much I gravitated towards these two decks, you guys. Last spooky season, both of these were also in my piles, but I did not reach for, especially one of them. I didn't reach for one of them as much. I don't know what happened. I'm really glad that I didn't give up on the deck because this year it was probably my most favorite to pull for the client readings. I think I used this deck for every single video reading that was booked. I think I used this deck for every single video reading. So it was my very favorite, and that is the Horror Oracle. And oh my gosh, you guys. So first off, if you are a horror fan, if you love horror movies, especially the classic horror, you will love this deck. If you collect horror stuff, this is a deck you want to pick up just to simply have it on your shelf. And I didn't really see much of the charm of this one last year. I don't know what it was. It just, sometimes that happens. If you're a tarot reader, leave me a comment and let me know. Does this ever happen to you where you're not pulled to a certain deck and it just doesn't call to you, but you put it away, you have it on your shelf, and then maybe months later or years later, you feel called to use it and it just wows you? Because that is exactly what happened with me with this deck. I don't know what happened last year. I even mentioned it in some videos. I was very disappointed in the guidebook. So this deck does come with a guidebook. I was very disappointed in the guidebook, and I don't know, it just didn't give me enough. It didn't give enough. Like, each card has like a tiny little paragraph. It didn't give enough for what I was looking for with, what does this card mean? What is the insight? What's the divination message? And I don't know. I can honestly say too, for this year's readings, I did not use the guidebook. I didn't use it once. I don't know what happened, what magic happened when I was using this deck, but I didn't need the guidebook. All of the little blurbs on each card fit the readings. It was honestly, it was almost scary how accurate and how fitting the cards were to the client's question. It was so eerie, and I freaking love when that happens in readings, especially the Halloween readings, because it really does the magic. I wish I had examples to show you from my client readings, but I do keep them private because, you know, for confidentiality. But there were just some times where these cards were insane how accurate. And sometimes it wasn't even the blurb on the card, it was the message. So let's talk about this deck a little bit. So it is a 50 card oracle deck, and every card depicts a horror picture, a picture from the movie. I love the artwork in this deck. It is very colorful, and just the artist has a very nice just the way he does his art is beautiful. The colors, everything blends. It's beautiful. It's all cohesive, which I really like when a deck is like that. Some of the monsters in this deck, I don't quite know all of the movies. So that's when the guidebook comes in handy, because I do believe the guidebook mentions just a little bit about the movie. So for example, for like Children of the Corn. Yeah, it says Children of the Corn, directed by Fritz Kirsch in 1984. So it does kind of share a little bit about what movie it was, which is kind of nice because there were some images that I didn't understand. But, you know, I love horror, but I don't know all of the movies. Going based off of the card itself. So let's actually use the Children of the Corn card, for example. So when I was pulling cards for readings, I was using this deck for everything from like the energy of the client's question to the energy of the person coming into their life, or, you know, love. It was like I was doing love readings, I was doing career readings, I was doing a lot of different questions, and you get a lot. So like, for example, when I would pull the Harvest card, the harvest to me would bring up, like, just intuitively would bring up, you know, like a cleanse of some sort in someone's life, or needing to upheaval something in your life, needing to like remove. It's time to harvest in your life or your love life or whatnot. I got a lot out of it, but then I found myself connecting with the images. Sometimes it would be the characters in the cards. Sometimes, like with the question, it would be like, you know, if it was like a love life question or whatnot, if I was like gravitating towards the monster, the creature in the water card, I would, you know, be like, oh, maybe they are a water sign, you know, or maybe they have qualities that are a little bit too much for you, or I don't know, like I was really like allowing the the images to speak to me. And some of the images on here can be a bit much, you know, but it was, I don't know how else to explain it unless you were there witnessing a reading, how insane these cards were, like how accurate they were. So I'm really glad that I didn't give up on this deck, because last year, I freaking love this one, the alien. Oh my God. I last year I just wasn't sure. I was kind of like, I love the cards, I love the pictures, the fact that it's horror, but it just didn't speak to me. No. This year was so good. Oh, I remember too, the twins came up in the reading for someone. It was just it was crazy. I can't give details away though, because it's client readings, but freaking love it, you guys. So definitely, if you're a horror buff, you love the horror stuff, this is a really cool oracle to have. But man, oh man, did this one give off some amazing readings. So freaking obsessed. Do you guys have this deck? What are your thoughts on the horror oracle? I love it. Absolutely love it. And I do appreciate, oh my gosh, here's the ice. Some of these I haven't even seen, because I don't pull them often. Here's the one from The Thing, the movie The Thing, ice. I love that they mention what movie it is. So you don't have to know all of the horror movies to be working with this deck. You don't have to be familiar with the movie, the character, none of that. No, because there's some of these cards, like I'm telling you, I don't know all of them. And I was able to read with it perfectly fine. So Freaking love. So that is the horror oracle. This one completely shocked me. This one was my absolute favorite deck to work with this spooky season. Absolutely love it. And it is definitely going to stay on my shelf for future spooky seasons. I'll probably even use it off season. Like, it's that good. So I love it. Let's go ahead and switch gears to another oracle deck that surprised me this season. This was an Etsy purchase a few years back. So it's not one, I don't know if it's still available. I will do my best to search the original listing. And if I find it, I'll post it. I'll put it in my description box. But that is the Oracle of Nightmares. I keep the deck in this really cute Halloween-y deck bag. It has a cute little witch button on it. This deck did not come with a box from what I remember, unless if it did, it was just like a little cardboard box thing, nothing special. But I did save the title card, so I always remember the name of this deck, which is Oracle of Nightmares. And the thing about this deck, you guys, I don't know how many cards it is either. I want to assume maybe it's about at least 30 cards. It's a very small deck. But the thing with this Oracle is it's very dark. And it could be creepy at times. The whole essence of this deck is to reflect nightmares. It's to give you that feel of reimagining a nightmare that someone had, that you had. The card backs on these cards are very dark. I don't know if my camera will pick it up good. I also did a little video thing of it. But they're black with a little skeleton. Yeah, like a little skeleton creature, but it's like black on black. So it's sometimes hard to see depending on the lighting. And yeah, it's a very sweet, I don't even know if I would call it sweet. It's a very creepy deck. So this deck, what I used it specifically for in client readings, I used it for the shadow aspect. So a lot of times when I'm pulling intuitively for clients, I always pull a shadow or a fear card or a block. So this deck was my go-to for more of the negative, quote unquote, negative, energetic reflections of the client's situation, question, the person themselves. This was more of the deck that I would pull for the negatives. It really does speak on your shadow. We all have the light and the dark within us, right? We all have the shadow. And for me, when I do client readings, the shadow represents our fears. It represents maybe sometimes for some people, it's the alter ego, or it's untapped potential, or it's a block in your life. It's something that you're fearful of it. So then it's a block. It's something that is keeping you from obtaining something else. The fact that I designated this deck to be just that was a game changer, because before I was trying to use this for everyday readings, like for anything, and it just doesn't work that way, at least for me. Designating this as the shadow deck, the fear deck, the negative deck was a game changer for me. Let me show you guys a couple. So first off, like this one says overwhelm. So that's the other thing too about it, is sometimes it's hard to see the text on the card, but it does say overwhelm. You have a door that is trying to be shut, but you have so many arms, creepy arms and hands trying to come out. And then you have two little creepy dolls in the corner. It's really hard to see everything in the card, because the image, it's so dark. So yeah, that's the only kind of downside of it. But then it also is the charm of this creepy deck, because it also makes it spooky when you're really looking at it. But the overwhelm message, so if this was someone's block, right? If this was somebody's fear, their fear of being overwhelmed, they're being overwhelmed being a block, it's keeping them from, going for their goals. They have too much going on in their life. There's too many people trying to come in to poke at their life or their love situation. I would also see this too as them trying to shut out the outside noise in order for them to think for themselves. I got so much just from one card. Let's look at another one. Identity. So this is a creepy one too. You have faces, two people looking at each other, and then their faces are kind of popping out. And the thing with this is they're masks, right? It's a mask, and it's almost like it's like a mirror image of yourself, and the whole thing with identity. So whenever this card would pop up for someone, to me, this was in terms of their fears or their blocks. It's a fear or a block of facing your truth. It's a fear or block of looking at yourself from the lens of truth. Being able to remove the mask. I remember for someone's reading, this was all about removing the mask. Stop trying to be someone you're not for the sake of someone else's comfort and happiness. This was a lot. This will come up in readings, and it just speaks to my soul. Confront. This one is so creepy, so I apologize if that's a little scary for some people. But you have a ventriloquist, I believe, with their dummy, and it's just, oh my God, it's so creepy. And then you have the confront. So to me, when I would pull this card, it was like the fear of facing somebody and really putting your eyes, having their eyes on you or your eyes on them. That was one thing, because the eyes are literally like the creepiest part of this card. But another thing I would tell clients is, a block of having a confrontation, having a conversation with somebody, trying to, share the news with someone or telling somebody how you really feel. That could also come up too. Let's look for some more. Secrets. Ooh, this is a creepy one too. Secrets. You have like this little house in the back. You have these 3 ghost looking creatures. So when I would pull this one for clients, the fact that I can't see their faces would tell me too. Maybe there's like a block with not knowing someone's true intentions in the situation. Are you being too secretive? Are you being too shady? Or is the other person involved being that way? Are there secrets being kept, in that relationship situation or whatnot? The fact that the ghosts are outside of the house kind of shows me too, like maybe there's too much of allowing the outside influences infiltrate the inner parts of your relationship or the self. So those, like I said, I was on fire with both of these oracle cards. These are so good. There's so much to get, and I was very pleasantly surprised how amazing the readings were when I finally figured out how to use this freaking deck. And it took a while because like I said, I've had this deck for a few years. So my personal way of using the Oracle of Nightmares now, it will always and forever be the negative deck, the fear deck, the block deck. I love that. So yeah, you guys, I just wanted to share that with you. My 2 top favorite decks, oracle decks for the fall season, the spooky season. And I'm so sad because today is literally November 1st. So spooky season is pretty much over. But it's always spooky season here in my haunted home. So I will always be, having some sort of element of a spooky or, an element of my little ghosties and whatnot. Like there will always be that essence, because that's just one of my favorite things. But I just thought I would share that with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining me for another little video. Like I said, my RWS Halloween Tarot, I will definitely do a video in the very near future showcasing this one, because I do want to talk about it. I also have a deck that is going to be arriving today that I ordered that I will probably also showcase as well. I was a little sad that some of the spooky mass-produced decks were not officially released until literally like the end of October. So I don't know why they do that. I wish they would, release them a lot earlier, because we want to use them during October, but it is what it is. So anyways, my loves, I will let you go. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video very, very soon. Bye, guys.